Today we discuss about the physicochemical characteristics of water. So here mainly two factors are influencing the water. One is physical factor, another one chemical factors. So what are the physical factors influencing the water means temperature, depth of the pond, turbidity, light, water conditions and shore conditions. What are the chemical factors influencing the water means pH, dissolved oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients and also hardness. So here these temperature and depth of the pond and light and these water movements are very important physical factors for influencing the fish culture. So the first one, temperature. So when seasonal changes occurs, this time this temperature of environment bring the thermal stratification in the ponds. This temperature will bring thermal stratification in the ponds. So here this temperature is a abiotic factor and also it influencing metabolic activities like respiration, growth, development and reproduction in the fish species. So mostly these fishes are completely cold-blooded animals. So cold-blooded animals means here these are completely change their body temperature in relation with the environmental temperature. For example, environmental temperature is very low, thus time these fishes body temperature is also decreases. When it will be high, this body temperature will be increases. So that means these fishes maintain temperature surrounding environment. And also where these metabolic activities are completely occur at a normal pace, where these metabolic activities are completely occurs in the normal pace, it is called normal temperature or it's called as optimum temperature. Means it is also called as tolerable temperature. So here some of the carp fishes in our country tolerate such temperature changes. And other exotic fishes are not tolerate these changes. In the same way, cold water fishes cannot survive in the tropical waters. Only carp fish can tolerate these temperature changes. These exotic fishes or these cold water fishes can't tolerate sudden changes. And dissolved oxygen also required for the cold water fishes like salmonids. They need 9 ppm of dissolved oxygen, and also these tropical water fishes need 7.5 ppm. And also growth of fishes at normal temperature is 13 to 20 degrees centigrade. It is good for the fish growth in the fish culture, and very slow growth occurs at temperature 5 to 13 degrees centigrade. And also when the temperature falls below 5 degrees centigrade, thus time this growth will be arrested. So normal growth is 13 to 20 degrees centigrade, and a very slow growth occurs when the temperature between 5 to 13 degrees centigrade, and when it will be fall below 5 degrees centigrade, the growth will be arrested. And also development of the fertilized eggs also need some temperature. So here this tilapia eggs need 20 to 30 degrees centigrade, and salmon eggs need 10 degrees centigrade, and also these major carp fishes need 20 to 37 degrees centigrade. So when this optimum temperature is present, thus time the development will be occurs in the fertilized eggs. And the next one, depth of the pond. So variation of in physical chemical factors generally observed depending on the depth of the pond. So it's completely depend on the depth of the pond. So when the pond is very deep, when the pond is deep, so here the sunlight cannot reach to the bottom of the pond, and hence the producers are limited here. When a deep pond will present, that time the sunlight is complete cannot reach to the pond bottom, so hence the producers are limited, and organisms are living in the bottom of the pond may die, which are living in the bottom of the pond. These animals will be die because of low temperature, and also slow degradation of waste materials, and high concentration of toxic substances will be present in the bottom of the pond. And also here the ideal depth for the fish culture is between 2 to 3.5 meters. So when we have to maintain this, here the productivity is high, and also yield would be more. And the next one, turbidity. So light can easily pass through the clear water. Light can easily pass through the clear water when these planktonic materials, these planktonic organisms, and also silt and sand particles are entering into the pond during the rainy season. So thus time the water will be turns into the muddy. So here estimated that dust particles will be enters into the pond 2000 to 5000 ppm during the rain season. 2000 to 5000 ppm will be enters into the pond during the rainy season, and Indian carps can tolerate frequent variations. Only these Indian carps can tolerate frequent variations, and also the silt particles of water get entangled in the gills chamber and inhibit respiratory activity. So light can easily passes through the clear water, but during the rainy season these planktonic organisms and silt and sand particles will be entering into the pond. So here completely dust particles entered into the pond estimated as 2000 to 5000 ppm, and also these Indian crops can tolerate the frequent changes. And the next one, light. The incidence of light depends upon the its intensity, and here this entry into the deeper water zone is completely reduced due to the these planktons and silt and sand and other suspended substances. So here this light is very essential factor for the photosynthesis purpose, and also its absence results in the less vegetation. Due to these light absence, there less vegetation and depletion of producers, etc. Water currents. So these water currents are brought about by flood water and waves and outgoing water help in homogeneous dispersal of the feed of the pond, and it indirectly contributes the enhanced productivity. And also these rapid water movements also caused by the entry of flood water, and also this flood water initiated reproductive activity such as breeding and also spawning, etc. So here this high pressure due to speedy wave action it results the soil erosion in high turbidity and also drop in primary productivity, and also non-availability of food materials, etc. When it will be high pressure due to this speedy wave action results soil erosion and also drop the primary productivity and also non-availability of food materials, etc. Shore conditions. So these increased shore length results exposing the larger areas of water to sunlight. So this enhances vegetation and also phytoplanktonic growth, which is turn brings about the raising of primary productivity, and thus it is also increased the fish yield also. This shore conditions means the increased shore length results exposing the larger areas of water to sunlight, and also it enhances the vegetation of phytoplanktonic growth, and also it's increase the primary productivity and also fish yield. So the chemical factors, first one is pH. pH means potential hydrogen. So the pH is completely this pH of water completely depends on the dissolved minerals. These are completely depends on the dissolved minerals and also other nutrients. So when this Swingle proposed that high productivity can achieved by with a pH of 6.5 to 9.0. The Swingle proposed that high productivity can be achieved in the water with a pH of 6.5 to 9.0, and when the pond water becomes acidic, means when it turns into low pH due to the rains and also non-availability of nutrients and entry of marshy flood water. When the flood water enter into the pond or due to the heavy rains and this non-availability of nutrients, these are changes the water turns into it's acidic. So when it will be turns into acidic, that time the pH is less than 6.0, it is results mortality. And pH is not uniform to all ponds in all seasons. Water with a pH of 7.5 to 8.5 is considered for the best for fish culture. So pH means potential hydrogen. So here this pH of water depends on the dissolved minerals and also other nutrients. So here Swingle proposed that high productivity can be achieved in water is 6.5 to 9.0 is good for fish culture, and pond water becomes acidic means when they get low pH due to the heavy rains and also non-availability of nutrients and entry of marshy flood water into the ponds. So due to this mortality will be occurs. So when pH of water is less than 6.0 and more than 10.8 is not suitable for the fish culture, and pH is not uniform to all ponds in all seasons, so we have to maintain pH 1.5 to 8.5. It is the good for the fish culture. Another one, dissolved oxygen. So oxygen released from the photosynthetic activity of aquatic plants. Here this oxygen released from the photosynthetic activity from the aquatic plants dissolved in water, and it's available for utilization of only aquatic organisms. So this productivity of the ponds completely depends on the release equilibrium of oxygen content. This productivity of the pond depends upon the release and equilibrium of oxygen content, and here the fishes and other aquatic organisms are utilizing this dissolved oxygen, and also it is used for their respiratory activity. And also due to the this oxygen deficiency may cause mass mortality due to the suffocation, and it's also due to prolonged rainy seasons. It also occurs due to the prolonged rainy season and also microbial actions on the dead and organic materials of the pond. And also here the minimum requirements of oxygen for cold water fishes around 11 ppm, and it's about to 6.7 ppm for the tropical fishes. And the next one, carbon dioxide. The respiration and microbial degradation of main metabolic activities resulting in the release of high quantities of carbon dioxide in the culture ponds. So these atmospheric carbon dioxide also dissolves in the water to certain extent. So this carbon dioxide also necessary for the aquatic plants to conduct photosynthesis. So this abnormal increase of carbon dioxide is also results in the mass mortality of fishes. Another one, nutrients. So these nutrients are necessary for the growth of organisms, and mineral salts is required for the quantities. So if available cultural ponds, it increase the productivity. So here these macronutrients like calcium, sodium, potassium, magnesium, iron, these are form of salts. These all are form of salts like sulfates, chlorides and phosphates, carbonates and nitrates, and these are regulated the growth by organisms of controlling their metabolic activities. These are regulate the growth of organisms by controlling their metabolic activities, and also several micronutrients also present. Those are manganese and zinc, copper, aluminum, molybdenum, nickel, cobalt, etc. These are required in the minute quantities to initiate the speed of the metabolic activities. These are regulate the metabolic activities, and these are initiate the metabolic activities. So here these macronutrients are completely regulate metabolic activities, and these micronutrients are initiate the metabolic activities. And another one, hardness. So here these carbonates, phosphates, and sulfates, and chlorides of calcium and magnesium, they contribute to hardness of water. So for fishes to grow, hardness of water must more than 15 ppm. So when it will be less than 5 ppm, the growth is arrested in the aquatic organisms.